Hello and welcome to another episode of Literary Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
Larry.
Jesi.
Charlie.
And I'm Josh. And today we're going to be going over the story of a typhoon off the coast of Japan by Jack London.
A story of the coast of the typhoon in Japan?
Close.
Yep.
By Jack London.
Mm-hmm.
Great writer, by the way. Great writer.
Let's see if the Pavlovian response.
Will you shut
salad.
In our previous episode, I committed... Never mind.
Already then, because Charlie was relatively well-behaved, we are not
Yay!
eat salad. But we may reconsider it if they get too out of hand. But the discussion starter that I have for the story of a typhoon off the coast of Japan is Jack London wrote and submitted the story to the San Francisco Morning Call's writing contest for writers under 22 when he was just 17, which was in 1893, and it won first place. It laid the groundwork to what would be an eventful career, and Jack London was actually he was able to make a living off of writing, and is very much his writing reflects the markets a bit more than a lot of literary figures, especially during his day. But my question is, do you feel that this story shows reflections of a piece that would be entered into a writing contest?
Heck yeah.
I don't know. I know that it was, because that's what it said on the the website when I opened it up, that he submitted it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if you think about it, at 17, most people at that age are interested in... Excuse me. Most people at that age are interested in other things. And I'm not just, sports and back then they had sports too, but we're still learning, we're still trying to develop who we are. And at 21, the brain is usually fully developed, but this had all the elements of suspense. I don't know what I don't know what it would be classified as a work. But I found it to be very well written. And if he wrote this at 17, he did a darn good job.
Yeah, I think that was really, I think it wasn't
because
so
I didn't
much,
know that. I truly didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was more surprising that he wrote it at 17 than it was that it was submitted as into a short story contest.
Yeah.
I think, because, I keep fiddling with the ideas of submitting short stories to contests, and I guess I can't really say, because I know when I think about my works and stuff, I always think about how, it's probably not good enough, it's not what you should submit to a contest, but then when you look at things that are actually submitted to contests, you don't really notice any similarities or anything like what should and shouldn't be submitted. Yeah. So, I don't know, I guess I was just more surprised that he wrote it at 17. I mean, what's his time frame?
He was born in 1876 and died in 1916.
Alright, so, does he know a lot about sailing? Because it
seemed
like
he does.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know.
This story is based off of his accounts of being on the Sophie.
Okay, so, that's what I gathered from it. He seems to know a lot about sailing and
at
stories.
At first, I thought it was... At first, it seemed... But he's engaged in... I want to say he was in the Navy.
There you go.
He was involved in the Klondike Gold Rush.
Okay.
He was very, very well rounded with his.
The only reason why I even understood some of the terminology and stuff that he was using was because of, for those of you who don't know, my 2018 theme was sailing and boats. So, I read a lot of books on sailing and boats, which is why, when he went through it, I was like, oh, I get this, okay.
And Jack London, a lot of his writing was about...
survival?
In a way, a lot of it was his marine naval-based experiences, his experiences of being in the Northwest, the Yukon, Alaskan territories.
Yeah.
He,
Call of the Wild. Great book.
Call of the Wild is his most well-known work.
That's
Or White
terrific.
Fang, right?
He wrote White Fang.
I recognize White Fang.
There's they're two companion works because they're both about dog sledding.
But if this is what was it? I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? The discussion starter.
Do you feel that the story reflects a piece that would be entered into a writing contest?
Yeah, I do.
I think as much as it is,
and it's
as much as it's autobiographical, I feel that I feel that it's a very simple work, and it should be taken for its face value.
Yeah.
The only thing that really left me critically thinking is the idea of the bricklayer, and how they mention they mention something about his dysentery, and then at the very end they talk about burying him in sea.
Yeah,
Which,
I felt like that wasn't connected very well. I mean, it might have just been me, because I mean, I kind of actually they only had like one or two sentences maybe about him, and then all of a sudden he was dead, and I was like, was he an important character? Like, are they just saying?
Is there significance to him being a bricklayer?
Yeah,
Or is it just
like,
a title? Because
being-
it makes me think of The Open Boat, where everybody's referred to by their title.
I mean, like you said, I just kind of took this at face value, like you said. I mean, and even before we started, I said to you, it was like, I read it, and I enjoyed it, but I don't see anything like any deeper than what it was.
Right, yeah,
like
right.
we read some stories that are like, and short stories and poems and stuff that I feel like have deeper meanings. Like our last session when we talked about the Forsaken Mermaid, how there's so
Let's not
many
relive
different
those.
ways to interpret it.
Yeah.
And whereas this is like, nope, it's a boat in the middle of a storm.
I think
that's
Jack
that.
London was more about the details as to what was happening as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
Because the only character that has a name is when he refers to himself, or he's referred to as Jack.
Yeah.
I don't.
Jack London.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it reminded you of The Open Boat. It reminded me a little bit of that, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the brutality of nature definitely comes
Yeah,
through.
And Jack London was very much a naturalist.
It was Mother Nature's
And an
time of the
atheist.
month.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't want to
Ready
finish.
then. We have any final thoughts then?
Terrific read. Really, really short, but it was also very, very good.
Yeah, it
And,
was only 5 pages, give or take.
But
I
still,
was gonna say I read it online. I have no idea how many pages it was.
Only
It was very easy to find online.
The
if
scroll
you
bar
guys
is like
wanna...
that big.
Yeah, and like
like my
and-
head,
I
and my
got-
brain.
I referred to this collection of his short
See, that's
stories.
what I want.
I also got this at the book garden, and this means I never have to buy another Jack London book collection.
And it's got everything in there, nearly everything.
So
this was actually my first read by Jack London, and I mean, like, it's not. I enjoyed it, but I mean, it wasn't really anything too in depth. I didn't have to think about it too much. It was just like something quick, something easy, and being all of the sailing stories and boat stories and ocean stories that I just read for 2018. It kind of feel like I was like, did Josh put me on this panel for a reason? Did he pay attention to what I was reading? Because this falls right in line with that. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for, what it was. Just a quick little short story. Nothing too in-depth.
Yeah.
Just
Something to take your mind off doing your tax return.
I'll just talk about Jack London then. Because I like him.
Yeah.
I'll just do say a couple words. I like Jack London.
Okay.
I'm sure he likes you too.
I read a
then.
few of his works. I read White Fang, I read Call of the Wild when I was little. I probably about like 8th grade. I read all that stuff. Great stuff though. I'd read it again. It's good. And this story is probably the least impressive work that I've read of his. Also read a short story. I think it's called The Match, or The Matches. You know that one?
see,
It's a suspenseful work.
There's a smiley face on my cup.
where,
His big book of London.
yeah, that's a big book of London. It's a real short one, but it's about a guy. He's stuck in Alaska, I think,
What's
alone.
it called? The Match, you said?
Yeah, and he's got to start a fire.
Is it
only
to
that.
build a fire?
To build a
Maybe
fire.
that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
To build a fire. He's got to learn how to build a fire.
Well, he's got to do it. He has to build a fire.
I
He's
know.
got like 3 matches or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's 2 versions of it too. There's the one from 1902, and then I think he expanded on it, and that came out in 1908.
I probably read the shorter one, but but yeah, Jack London's all right, and this story was pretty good.
He only expanded it by about 8
There's
pages.
a turkey out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say turkeys.
There's
are
another
hard to find.
turkey out there.
Already then. Be sure to join us next time
There's
for another
another one.
episode of Literary Gladiators. For now, keep reading.
Bye.